May profits be upon you. Welcome to another weekly market forecast update. All right. Now, when I talk about the markets, as opposed to the weekly Forex uh, forecast, I'm talking about the weekly market forecast. I'm talking about the markets, the equity markets, S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, U.S. oil, gold, silver, platinum, and copper. Those are the ones I mainly watch. And I like to give updates sometimes during the week. And I told you to look out for these things. Now, I want you to make sure that you watch that weekly Forex forecast, the weekly market forecast that I put out on Saturday. You have to watch that. All right. I'm going to leave a link at the end of this video for you on your screen, or I'll leave it a link in the description. But you want to watch that full forecast. Okay. Now, as far as today's changes, what did I tell you to look out for in the forecast? I told you that this was Friday's candle, and because it closed higher than the previous candle, there's likelihood that we'll at least get a candle that opens up and takes out the high, and probably end as a bullish candle. All right, that's next candle theory, if you want to call it anything. But usually that's what follows, and that's exactly what happened, right? And we closed somewhere close to the top, so it can go. The next candle could go either way, but I am looking for price to go higher and take out this high, and quite possibly this high. If you go to the uh, uh, to the forecast that I gave, I talked about the Trump pump. It's inauguration day. He picked. This is a day that you look back on 2000 when he came into office, 2017, Friday, the 20th. The markets started to take off from there and go higher. The equity markets, while the U.S. dollar went the opposite way, it started to go down. So it was a pretty good time for the U.S. economy. So we're looking for a repeat performance this time around. So I'm looking for price to come and take out these highs, and we're on our way to taking out this high in the NASDAQ, right? There is an SMT, a smart money technique. This is where you spot divergences between assets that correlate positively, all right, that track the same way like the S&P and the NASDAQ. But you'll see this high was never taken by this low. But if you go to the S&P, you see that it was taken a good while ago. All right, but the SMT, the divergence is still holding. All right, now in the S&P, you can see these highs are going to be our next target, and you see that today we did take out this high. All right, so that tracks because the S&P is running a little stronger than the NASDAQ. As you can see with the NASDAQ, a good distance away, but it's on its way to taking that out, right? And the S&P is already there. All right. So yeah, this one happened. The forecast is playing out as uh, as I forecasted. Okay, as I figured it would. So what am I expecting tomorrow? I'm looking for price to come towards this high, to take out that high before, of course, before it gets up here. And we may, because it's so close with the close to yesterday's candle high. All right, we may see a pullback. All right, because we're taking out external liquidity here at that high. All right, when you take out external liquidity, external range liquidity, you're looking for the market looks for internal range liquidity, and that can come in the form of a fair value gap like this one, or an area of supply like right here. Boom. All right, that's an area. An area of demand. I'm sorry. All right, where a price could find its footing, and I don't know why I did that. All right, find its footing and then continue higher from there. All right, doesn't have to come all the way down to that fair value gap. All right, but it very well could. All right, so we're going to see That's a good distance for it to come down here. All right, this one was this one doesn't even belong here anymore. Okay, so I'm looking for an area down here. All right, for price to come back. And so once it takes this low, because it could very well could take, this is a very close close in relation to the high of Friday. Once it takes that low, I'm looking for price to probably find its footing somewhere and then come to that high. Got it? Same thing with the NASDAQ. All right, I'm looking for a price to see how close it is. It's even a little bit closer on the close. So we can see price come back, take this low into this area of overall area of supply, and we might find price, find its footing, find the support it needs to go to higher prices. If we peak down into the 4 hour, we can find an area where price could uh, bounce from. There's a 4 hour, sorry, there's a 4 hour fair value gap here. I gotta use this thing. All right, right there, and that's a good that's a good spot for a price to find its footing after it sweeps these lows. It could come down here and continue higher. You see how it's already stair stepping its way up. All right, this is the Nasdaq, the weaker one. All right, so making uh, higher highs, higher lows, and all. This isn't. It didn't really have a good pullback here. This would represent a better pullback for price to launch up. Yeah. So let's look at the Dow. The Dow is moving pretty close to the same way, except uh, it's moving pretty strong. Look, you can see it already took this high. All right, here, and there is a bullish fair value gap down here. Do I expect price to come all the way back down? And no, I don't. But it could happen. All right. But with with the inauguration and all, I'm thinking that price is probably going to find uh, an area. Oh, no. Price is probably going to find this fair value gap that it made today. All right. It made today. It can find that fair value gap and bounce from it all and continue higher. And why would it go higher? Because we have low resistance liquidity right here, and price could just slice through all of that and take this high out for the buy side liquidity. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Hopefully we get a pullback, because this is the area I would want to take a buy from. All right, I don't want to take buys from up here. That's not good. That's not good trading. In oil, I mentioned that price was coming towards these highs. It took this high out Friday and last week, and I think it's going to come toward. There's a good chance that it may come towards that high. All right, and the way we're going to know is if we see a break of market structure where we see a shift. All right, the deal is, because we have peace deals in the Middle East, I'm thinking that because that has a direct effect on oil, when there's peace, prices go lower. When there's tension, that's when price goes higher. And this target may not get hit for a good while. All right, I'm thinking that after today's bearish candle, as you can see, we hit a low already. Let's go to the 4 hour and you'll see it. We hit one of the lows that I marked out in the forecast. Do make sure you go and check out the forecast I put out on Saturday. All right, make sure you see it. All right, we took out this low here. All right, I pointed out this low. I said if we hit that low, if we take out that low and come towards this low, this is the low that I was like, okay, this is where I would decide to start thinking that we should switch from a bullish bias to a bearish bias and start looking for sells. And we did take that low. All right, but what did we do? We came into this area of demand. All right, now price could respond to this in a bullish way. All right, and what would that make sense? Would that make sense? Watch, you got to pan out. I want to trade with the trend, the overall prevailing trend. Are we bullish or are we bearish? Are we bullish or are we bearish? Well, looks like it's hard to tell, right? We was doing this, narrowing, becoming a narrowing wedge. All right, this triangle pattern, whatever they want to call it. All right, and but we've been bullish since, what is this? Since December, the beginning of December last year, right? And we have a bullish fair value gap here that price is coming back to. But the problem here for me on this fair value gap is that it's a breakaway gap. Price shouldn't have come back here. All right, price shouldn't be heading back to this. All right, a breakaway gap is a gap that is made up of three candles, right? One, two, three. All right, and the deal is, if the third candle closes above the second candle's trading range, the high of it, all right, price has no, it doesn't theoretically have no reason to come back here. All right, it'll stay up here. All right, and if for price to break this low and head towards this thing is giving me a bearish indication. All right, we haven't reached there yet, but we're heading that way. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for price to pull back into the bearish leg it just created to break that low. Sorry, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. There it is. All right. The bearish leg it created to take out that low here and come into this demand zone, right, will give us a boost back up into supply. I'm looking for price to turn around somewhere in here in this bearish leg, and if it does, great. That's fine. I'll be looking for some kind of confirmation, like there's a supply area here, but this is the overall supply here. The buy up before the sell off. That's where you're going to find an order block, right? Supply zone. All right. Uh, if price comes back up in here, this would be the first one. If we break this high, like so, then I'll be looking for price to pull back into this bullish leg and find support to go to higher prices. All right, that would be aligned with the larger swing structure, which is bullish. All right, I don't want to be taking a sell in a bull with the macro looking bullish. I'm taking a short term sell there. I'm not comfortable. I'm not comfortable with that. So I'm looking for a break of market structure. There's a market structure shift above this high or this high. This one would definitely confirm that price is going higher. And once we get a pullback, that's where I would like to take a buy. This one, if we break here and price gets above it and bounces back onto that, comes back into it, I would be considering a buy there as well. I don't want to take sells right now. All right, I want to see more. You know, I want to be convinced a little bit more in crude oil that prices are definitely heading down, but I want some confirmation, more confirmation now. With gold, what did I say in the market in the forecast? I said that we were here. I said if price comes down to this bullish fair value gap, it could use it to go to higher prices. What I do observe is that price did come down to it per the forecast, and it has a nice respect candle so far. It's showing some respect. As long as this fair value gap holds, I'm looking for prices to go higher so we can take this buy side liquidity. And I would, if I were you, if I were anybody, my TP would be no higher than this volume imbalance, which I observed over here on the weekly time frame, but this is going right according with the forecast. All right, go check that forecast out. All right, now in silver, you can see price has come back into this fair value gap, a bearish fair value gap. We have one reaction to it, and then price goes in for another. What am I thinking? All right, what am I thinking? Pan out, pan out. Are we bullish or are we bearish? All right, this looks bullish. We have a bullish break of structure. I'm looking for what? This bullish leg. I'm looking for price to come back into that bullish leg and find support for higher prices. All right, until price breaks that bullish leg, then I'm not bearish. All right, the swing structure right now is bullish. I want to go along with that, so I'm looking for the fractal structure. All right, to match the bullishness. I want to take buys when both of them are aligned. Okay, now we have a bullish shift here in markets in the market structure. So once it makes this bullish leg, I'm looking for price to come back into this area of fair value, and which it did. Boom, for higher prices. That's exactly what it did, and it took the high out here. But we are in a bearish fair value gap. All right. Do I want to take sells from here? All right. I'm not keen on taking sells from here. No, I am not. Uh, uh, you can if you want to, but once price tap that fair value gap once and then a second time, I'm not relying on this fair value gap anymore. All right. And the second time it took out the previous high. All right, and it didn't create a new low. So right now we are in a bullish fair value gap here, and we could very well find price moving higher. Okay, so I am uh, tentatively bullish right now until the market structure is broken here for me. Once the market breaks that low, that is a bearish break of market structure. I'm looking for this leg for a price to pull back into and then continue down. All right. And you know what I'm looking for in that bearish leg? I've already been over it. A fair value gap or an area of supply. All right. Now, this is a platinum. All right. I'm still looking at this breaker to hold. All right. You see how price bought up before the sell off, right? And then we took out that high. This is a very bullish move to me, and it created this breaker with a fair value gap inside. That's a unicorn, folks. All right, on the daily, but it came down deep into it before it had a bullish bounce. Are we going to make it out of this breaker? Are we going to trade through this breaker? It's 50-50 right now. All right. I was hoping that it would bounce a little higher from here, but it came down deep into it. We did find the fair value gap. So I want to see if price continues higher from here. And after the candle that we had on Friday, that bullish rally, you see how Monday is very low volume and whatnot. I'm looking for price to quite possibly take that low out and continue higher. All right. If we go to the last one, which is copper, really quick, copper has a bullish break of market structure here. All right. And you see how we pull above it. And this is a weekly fair value gap with a daily uh, nested inside of it. And you see the respect as price is coming into this area. I'm looking for price to bounce and continue higher. Yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you got something out of it. Uh, Look for price to, when it breaks market structure, to pull back into that bullish leg or that bearish leg, whichever case it may be. This is a bullish one, and you look for price to continue higher from an area of a fair value gap or or demand or supply, depending on what the trend is. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you go back and watch my forecast, and I will see you in the next video.